The shuttle descended through crimson clouds, buffeted by winds that howled like wounded animals. Maya gripped her command chair, masking her anxiety as the vessel shuddered violently. Atmospheric interference stronger than predicted. Lieutenant Sato reported, his fingers dancing across the navigation panel. Adjusting approach vector. The shuttle dropped beneath the clouded layer, revealing a landscape both familiar and alien. Skeletal skyscrapers jutted from the earth like broken teeth, their surfaces coated with a shimmering, moss-like substance that pulsed with subtle bioluminescence. What had once been highways now resembled veins of a living organism, crisscrossed with vegetation that glowed faintly in the filtered sunlight. Life signs confirmed, Dr. Rahim announced, her voice tight with controlled excitement. Multiple clusters. Definitely human, but she hesitated, reviewing her data. There are anomalies in their biometric signatures. Maya processed this information with military precision. The mission briefing had been explicit. Earth was uninhabitable, devoid of human presence since the last evacuation ships departed 5 decades ago. Those too poor, too sick, or too stubborn to leave had presumably perished in the toxic aftermath of environmental collapse. Yet someone was down there. Someone had survived. The shuttle settled on a relatively flat area that scanners indicated was structurally sound, the remnants of what had once been Incheon International Airport. As landing struts connected with solid ground, a profound silence fell over the command deck. "We've returned," Maya said softly, the weight of the moment pressing on her chest. Humanity's first footsteps on Earth in 50 years would be hers. Her team moved with practiced efficiency, donning environmental suits designed to withstand Earth's hostile atmosphere. The suits represented the pinnacle of orbital engineering: self-healing membranes, integrated atmospheric filters, and defensive capabilities that could repel most known toxins. "Remember your training," Maya instructed as her squad assembled in the airlock. "This is a reconnaissance mission first. We locate the source of that signal, assess for threats, and report back to Orbital Command before taking further action." The outer door cycled open, and Earth's air rushed in, carrying scents that no simulation could replicate. Even through her suit's filters, Maya detected unfamiliar notes: metallic, organic, alive in ways that defied explanation. Her first step onto Earth's surface sent a tremor through her body. The ground felt wrong, slightly springy, as though she walked on something partially alive. Each footstep left a momentary impression that slowly filled itself in after she moved on. "Captain," Sergeant Novak called out, gesturing toward the horizon. "Movement, 2 clicks northeast." Maya activated her helmet's magnification. Figures moved through the ruins with surprising grace, navigating obstacles that should have been impassable. Their environmental suits were unlike anything manufactured in the orbital colonies, lighter, more flexible, seemingly grown rather than constructed. "They're heading toward us," Dr. Rahim observed. "They know we're here." Maya made a swift decision. Defensive formation, non-threatening posture, weapons ready but not displayed. She raised her hand, signaling her team to halt their advance. "Let them come to us." As the figures drew closer, Maya could distinguish details that sent a chill through her spine. Their suits incorporated organic elements, living tissue seamlessly integrated with technological components. Their movements suggested enhanced strength and reflexes beyond normal human capability. Earth had changed its children, just as they had changed with it. "Prepare for first contact," Maya ordered, her voice steady despite the thundering of her heart. "This isn't the homecoming we expected." The caretaker led Maya through Sanctuary's inner chambers, each more astonishing than the last. What had once been a luxury shopping mall beneath Seoul's financial district now housed a thriving ecosystem of purpose-grown plants and modified organisms. "Your environment suits are unnecessary here," the caretaker noted, gesturing to Maya's team. "Our air is cleaner than what you breathe in your orbital habitats." Dr. Abrams scanned the atmosphere with his wrist-mounted device, eyes widening at the results. "He's right, Captain. Oxygen levels optimal, Toxin counts negligible. He hesitated, then added, "There are unfamiliar biological markers, but nothing flagged as harmful." Maya weighed the risks against the diplomatic advantage of trust. "Helmets off," she ordered, unlatching her own first. The rich scent of vegetation filled her lungs. Earthy, alive, intoxicating after years of recycled station air. "You see now why we stayed," the caretaker said, watching her reaction. Earth never died. It transformed. They passed through hydroponics labs where plants grew without soil, their roots suspended in nutrient mists. Workers harvested vegetables that glowed with subtle bioluminescence, developed to maximize nutritional value under minimal light conditions. These adaptations, Maya began, professional curiosity overriding her caution. They're beyond anything our scientists thought possible. "Necessity breeds innovation," the caretaker replied. When the evacuation ships left, those of us who remained had two choices: adapt or perish. They entered a central atrium where sunlight filtered through specialized panels that neutralized harmful radiation while amplifying beneficial wavelengths. Children played among garden beds, their laughter echoing against walls covered with living texture. Maya noticed subtle differences in their appearance: slightly larger eyes, skin with faint patterns that seemed to shift with their movements. "The children were born here?" Lieutenant Sato asked, voicing what the entire team wondered. "3 generations now," the caretaker answered with unmistakable pride. "Each more attuned to Earth's new patterns than the last." In a medical laboratory, Dr. Rahim stopped abruptly before a display showing cellular structures. "This can't be right," she whispered. "These cells show evidence of directed evolution, symbiotic integration with non-human DNA." The caretaker nodded. "You're observant, Doctor. We didn't just adapt our environment. We allowed our environment to adapt us." Maya felt a chill despite the comfortable temperature. "You modified yourselves genetically." "We embraced Earth's changes," he corrected. "The atmospheric toxins that killed millions. We developed microorganisms that metabolized them, then gradually incorporated those microorganisms into our own biology." He led them to a window overlooking a garden where plants with translucent leaves captured the diluted sunlight. "Everything in this sanctuary exists in balance. Nothing wasted, nothing extracted without replacement." Maya thought of New Hope's blueprints waiting in her shuttle's database: the mining operations, the resource extraction facilities, the defensive installations designed to secure Earth's riches for the orbital colonies. "And now we've come to disturb that balance," she said quietly. The caretaker's expression softened slightly. "That depends on the choices you make, Captain Chen." He gestured to a conference area where other Earthbound leaders waited. "Your military colony plans would devastate recovery zones it took us decades to establish. But there are alternatives, if you're willing to consider them." Maya felt the weight of decision pressing upon her. Orbital Command's orders were clear: establish the colony according to specifications, secure resources, prepare for potential competition from Mars. Yet standing in this improbable sanctuary, breathing air from plants that should not exist, she questioned the wisdom of those orders for the first time. "I'm listening," she said. The megastorm struck with a ferocity that the atmospheric models had failed to predict. Black clouds churned above New Hope, discharging lightning that slammed against the colony's protective shields with increasing frequency. Each impact drained precious power reserves. "Structural integrity at 67% and falling," reported Engineer Joe, her voice barely audible above the howling winds that penetrated the colony's outer layers. "The Eastern Residential Module won't withstand another direct hit." Maya surveyed the command center where her team monitored failing systems across multiple displays. The colony's rigid design, optimized for defense against human threats, proved ill-suited for Earth's evolved weather patterns. "Evacuation protocol for Eastern Residential Section," she ordered. "Move all personnel to Central Command." Commander Park, her second-in-command, approached with a data tablet showing the storm's projected path. "Captain, this isn't just passing over us. The atmospheric pressure suggests we're at the edge of a forming eye wall. It's getting worse. Maya accessed the colony's external cameras. Through sheets of caustic rain, she could make out sanctuary in the distance. Unlike New Hope's rigid structures, the earthbound settlement shifted with the storm. Domes contracting, external surfaces adjusting their angles to minimize wind resistance. Her communication officer looked up from his station. "Captain, incoming transmission from Sanctuary." The caretaker's voice filled the command center, remarkably clear despite the electromagnetic interference. "Captain Chen, our sensors indicate critical stress patterns in your colony structure. We're offering shelter until the storm passes." Commander Park muted the channel momentarily. "Captain, Orbital Command's contingency directives explicitly prohibit placing our personnel under earthbound control. We're supposed to maintain operational security at all times." Maya glanced at the structural integrity readouts, now dropping below 60%. "And what about our primary directive to preserve mission viability?" She unmuted the channel. "We accept your offer, with gratitude. How soon can you receive evacuees?" "We've already dispatched transport vehicles with environmental protection," the caretaker replied. "They'll reach your southern airlock in approximately 12 minutes. After ending the transmission, Maya turned to her hesitant officers. "I understand your concerns, but we can't fulfill our mission with dead personnel." The evacuation proceeded with military efficiency, though not without tension. Many of Maya's security team balked at the caretaker's request to secure their weapons before entering Sanctuary. "Your weapons utilize power sources that could interact unpredictably with our environmental systems," he explained at the airlock junction, where Earth-adapted transport vehicles waited. "They'll be returned when you leave." Maya surrendered her sidearm first, signaling her team to follow suit. "Remember, we're guests here. Observe protocols." Inside Sanctuary, the contrast with New Hope couldn't have been more dramatic. While the storm raged outside, the Earthbound continued their daily routines in completely stable conditions. The colony's living architecture absorbed external energy, channeling it into power reserves rather than suffering damage from it. Maya found herself paired with an Earthbound engineer named Suhail, who explained their approach to design. "Your colony fights against Earth's conditions," he observed without judgment. "We designed Sanctuary to move with them instead." He showed her how Sanctuary's structural supports contained genetically modified plant fibers that strengthened under stress rather than weakening. Walls incorporated microbial colonies that absorbed kinetic energy and converted it to heat or light. "Everything adapts," Suhail explained. "Nothing remains static." That night, as her personnel integrated awkwardly with their hosts, Maya stood at an observation window, watching lightning illuminate the distant silhouette of New Hope, damaged but standing. "Your colony can be rebuilt," the caretaker said, joining her vigil. "With different principles this time, perhaps." Maya nodded slowly, the implications of his words sinking in. "I was sent to establish a foothold. No one specified what kind." Maya stared at Admiral Wong's transmission long after it ended, the implications of Mars' declaration settling like a weight on her shoulders. Earth, this fragile, recovering world, was about to become a battlefield again. She left her quarters and climbed to New Hope's newly repaired observation deck. The colony's angular silhouette cast long shadows in the setting sun. Construction drones swarmed around the defensive perimeter, reinforcing walls that the storm had weakened. Once the additional troops and weaponry arrived, New Hope would transform from a research outpost into a military installation capable of repelling Martian forces. At what cost to Earth's recovery? Maya's comm unit buzzed with a priority message. Dr. Abrams, her chief science officer, requested her presence in the biology lab immediately. Something in his voice suggested discovery rather than emergency. The lab buzzed with unusual activity when Maya arrived. Researchers clustered around a sealed containment unit where soil samples from the storm-damaged sectors glowed with faint bioluminescence. "Captain, you need to see this," Dr. Abrams said, gesturing her closer. "The storm didn't just damage our structures. It activated something in the surrounding ecosystem. On a microscopic level, organisms in the soil had reorganized themselves, forming complex patterns that shifted in response to electrical stimuli. Dr. Abrams showed her time-lapse footage of the changes. "It's as if the storm was a signal," he explained, excitement overriding his usual scientific caution. "These microbiological communities are communicating, coordinating their activities in response to environmental changes." Maya studied the patterns, recognizing similarities to Sanctuary's adaptive technologies. Could this be Earthbound manipulation? Some kind of surveillance system? That was my first thought, Dr. Abrams admitted, but the genetic markers are unlike anything in our database or anything we've observed in Sanctuary. This appears to be entirely natural evolution, just accelerated beyond all previous models. Before Maya could respond, her communication officer's voice interrupted through her comm unit. "Captain, priority transmission from Orbital Command. They're requesting immediate update on planetary defense preparations." "Tell them I'll respond within the hour," Maya replied, her decision crystallizing as she watched the living soil continue its intricate dance beneath the microscope. Earth wasn't just a strategic resource to be fought over. It had become something more complex, more alive than anyone in the orbital colonies understood. "Dr. Abrams, gather all data on these biological anomalies and prepare it for transmission. But not to Orbital Command. Not yet." She straightened, resolve firming her voice. "I'm making an unauthorized trip to Sanctuary tonight." The journey through the twilight zone between colonies carried new risks. Orbital Command had installed surveillance drones to monitor Maya's activities, following her unconventional shelter arrangement during the storm. She avoided them by taking a maintenance crawler through a dried riverbed, arriving at Sanctuary's southern entrance as night fell completely. Dr. Song met her personally, concern evident in his expression. "Captain Chen, this is unexpected. I need to show you something," Maya said, offering him the secured data tablet containing Dr. Abrams' findings. "And I need to understand what Mars' declaration of sovereignty means for Earth's recovery." As Dr. Song reviewed the data, his expression shifted from concern to something more complex, understanding mixed with vindication. "The Earth is awakening," he said finally, "faster than even we anticipated." He looked up, meeting her eyes directly. "It's time you learned what we've become, what Earth has become, and why neither Mars nor your orbital command can be allowed to control it." The underground laboratory stretched deeper beneath Sanctuary than Maya had imagined possible. Bioluminescent fungi provided soft, ambient lighting that shifted in response to their movements. The air carried a scent like rain on warm soil, alive and vibrant. "The truth about us is complicated," Dr. Song explained as they descended. "When the evacuation began, many who remained were scientists, biologists, geneticists, environmental engineers, who believed Earth could be saved. But Orbital Command declared the planet beyond recovery," Maya said, recalling the historical records. "Recovery to its previous state, yes," Dr. Song conceded. "But nature doesn't work that way. Life adapts or dies. We chose to adapt with it." They passed through security checkpoints where Earthbound technicians worked with equipment that seemed partially grown rather than manufactured. Living computers processed data through crystalline structures that pulsed with information. "The early years were brutal," Dr. Song continued. "The first generation of survivors suffered terrible losses. Radiation poisoning, toxic exposure, failed adaptations, but each failure taught us something." He paused before a sealed door that opened in response to his biochemical signature. "This is what I wanted you to see." The chamber beyond contained a pool of luminescent liquid where a young woman floated, eyes closed, connected to the surrounding systems through delicate tendrils that emerged from the walls. Monitors displayed her vital signs alongside environmental data from across the Korean peninsula. "This is ENG, our most advanced symbiote," Dr. Song said quietly. "She can sense Earth's biological systems across hundreds of kilometers. The megastorm that damaged your colony, she felt it forming days before your sensors detected it. Maya approached the pool cautiously. She's communicating with Earth's biosphere. More than communicating, Dr. Song corrected. She's participating in it. The genetic modifications we've developed allow certain individuals to integrate with Earth's evolving neural network. Neural network. Maya's scientific training rebelled against the implication. You're suggesting Earth has developed a form of consciousness. Not human consciousness, Dr. Song clarified. Something different. Distributed. Emergent. The toxic chemicals that should have rendered Earth uninhabitable instead catalyzed new forms of microbial intelligence. These microorganisms form networks that process environmental information, essentially a planetary immune system. The woman in the pool opened her eyes suddenly, focusing on Maya with unsettling intensity. Her irises contained patterns similar to the soil samples Dr. Abrams had discovered. She's aware of you, Dr. Song said. And through her, Earth is learning about your intentions. Maya felt exposed, transparent before this strange amalgamation of human and planetary awareness. What does she want? The same thing any living system wants, Dr. Song replied. To survive. To grow. To reach equilibrium. The monitors surrounding the pool displayed new data. Martian landing trajectories, resource extraction projections, conflict simulations. The symbiote processed the information with inhuman speed. Mars and Orbital Command see Earth as territory to be claimed, Dr. Song said. But Earth has already claimed itself. The question is whether humanity will be partner or parasite in its evolution. Maya watched the symbiote's eyes track invisible patterns. And if we choose wrongly, then Earth will reject us, Dr. Song said simply. As any body rejects a harmful foreign element. The implications crystallized in Maya's mind. The coming conflict between Mars and Orbital Command might trigger protective responses from Earth's new biological systems, responses that neither faction was prepared to counter. There must be another way, she said. Dr. Song nodded. That's why we revealed ourselves to you, Captain. To find that other way. Together. The Martian landing ships descended through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars, their heat shields glowing against the dawn sky. Maya watched from Sanctuary's command center, where the Earthbound monitored the invasion through their living sensor network. 14 vessels, reported Suhail, his fingers interacting with the organic interface. Standard Martian military configuration. Troop carriers, weapons platforms, and resource extraction equipment. Dr. Song stood beside Maya, his expression grim. They're heading directly for the resource-rich areas we've spent decades detoxifying. Maya's former second-in-command, Commander Park, had maintained their communication channel despite her unofficial defection. His voice came through her secured comm unit. Captain, Orbital Command's reinforcements have arrived at New Hope. They're deploying defensive systems and preparing for Martian contact. Tell them to hold position, Maya replied. No preemptive strikes. After ending the transmission, she turned to Dr. Song. Your countermeasure, will it harm the Martian personnel? No, he assured her. The engineered microorganisms target synthetic materials only, specifically the navigation and communication systems. The ships will land safely, but in disarray. The Earthbound technicians released their defensive measure, not through conventional weapons, but through specialized plants that exhaled microscopic spores into the upper atmosphere. Maya watched on the monitors as the perfectly coordinated Martian formation began to falter. Ships veered off course, communication between vessels fragmented into static. It's working, Suhail confirmed. Their targeting systems are degrading. Landing coordinates are randomizing. 3 Martian ships managed to maintain enough control to land near their intended zone, approximately 5 kilometers from New Hope. The rest scattered across a 50-kilometer radius, their crews now isolated from Central Command. The fog deployment is ready, an Earthbound technician announced. Dr. Song nodded. Proceed. Outside, specialized plants released a dense mist that spread with unnatural speed, surrounding the landed Martian vessels. The fog contained light-refracting particles that rendered advanced targeting systems useless while remaining breathable for humans. "I should approach them now," Maya said, securing her environment suit, "before this escalates." Dr. Song handed her a small device fashioned from living tissue. "Take this communicator. It works through Earth's microbial network. The Martians can't intercept or jam it." Maya led a small delegation toward the Martian landing zone, including representatives from both the Earthbound and her former command. They carried no visible weapons, just a simple white flag, an ancient human symbol that transcended factional differences. The Martian vessel's airlock cycled open as they approached. Dr. Eliza Cato emerged, flanked by security personnel in sleek environmental armor. Her expression betrayed carefully controlled fury. "This hostile action violates interplanetary law," she began, her voice amplified through her suit's external speakers. "This defensive response protected both your personnel and Earth's recovery zones," Maya countered calmly. "Your ships landed safely. Your people are unharmed. We could have deployed lethal measures but chose not to." Dr. Cato's eyes narrowed behind her helmet's visor. "Our systems are already restoring. This delay changes nothing. It gives us time to show you what you're truly fighting over," Maya said. "Before your council commits to a course of action they don't fully understand." Something in Maya's tone, conviction without aggression, made Dr. Cato hesitate. "What exactly are you proposing?" "A temporary truce," Maya replied, "and a tour of Sanctuary, where you can see firsthand what Earth has become since the Exodus. After that, if you still believe conquest is your best option, we won't interfere with your communications again." Dr. Cato consulted briefly with her security team before responding. 4 hours. I'll bring 2 advisors. Any sign of deception, and our forces will respond with full military protocol." "Agreed," Maya said, relief washing through her. 4 hours might be enough to change the course of human history. If she could help Dr. Cato understand what she herself had only recently accepted. Earth was no longer just a resource to be exploited. It had become a partner in humanity's evolution. Dr. Cato's return to Mars sparked exactly the revolution Maya had hoped for. 3 months later, the Council of Ares transmitted their formal proposal for the Unified Earth Initiative, a collaborative project that would incorporate knowledge from all 3 human factions. But implementation proved far more challenging than conception. Maya stood in the newly constructed conference center halfway between Sanctuary and New Hope, watching representatives from the 3 factions argue over resource allocation. The circular room had been designed with symbolic equality. No head of table, no privileged positions, yet invisible lines of division remained clear. "The terraforming techniques we've developed on Mars require significant water resources," Dr. Cato explained, gesturing to simulation data projected above the central table. "Earth has abundant water compared to Mars. Water that's still contaminated in many regions," countered Professor Lin, one of the Earthbound's senior ecologists. "The purification process takes time. We can't accelerate it without damaging recovering ecosystems." Commander Reeves, representing Orbital Command, leaned forward with barely disguised impatience. "While we debate resource allocation, Mars continues military buildup in orbit. They've doubled their fleet since Dr. Cato's initial visit." Dr. Cato's expression tightened. "Those ships transport scientists and equipment, not troops. Ships that can be repurposed," Reeves insisted. Maya intervened before tensions escalated further. "These concerns are precisely why Unity needs to succeed. A collaborative Earth initiative benefits all factions and removes incentives for conflict." Her diplomatic skills, never part of her military training, had developed through necessity. Each day brought new challenges, translating between the Earthbound's ecological priorities, Orbital Command's security concerns, and Martian technological ambitions. After the contentious meeting adjourned, Maya found Dr. Song waiting outside, watching Earth's transformed sunset paint the sky in colors that would have been impossible before the catastrophe. "Difficult session?" he asked. "Progress comes slowly," she admitted. "But it comes." He nodded toward the horizon, where construction drones worked on Unity's foundation. The Martian agricultural scientist, Dr. Patel, has been working with our geneticists. They've made a breakthrough. Maya followed him to the research dome, where the collaborative team had been experimenting with adapting Earth's new symbiotic plants to Martian conditions. Dr. Patel greeted them with uncharacteristic excitement. "We've successfully integrated the adaptive properties of Earth's evolved microbiome with Martian hardy vegetation," she explained, showing them sealed growth chambers where reddish plants thrived in simulated Martian soil. These could accelerate Mars terraforming by decades. Maya studied the plants, understanding the implications immediately. "You've given Mars a reason to protect Earth's recovery rather than exploit it." "Exactly," Dr. Patel confirmed. "These plants require periodic reintegration with Earth's evolving biosphere to maintain their adaptive properties. A one-time resource extraction would be short-sighted compared to sustainable partnership." That evening, Maya prepared for a critical transmission to Orbital Command. The agricultural breakthrough provided the leverage she needed to convince her former superiors that cooperation offered greater benefits than competition. Earth was never meant to be a battlefield, she rehearsed, formulating the words that might bridge decades of division. It was meant to be home. We have a chance to return, not as conquerors, but as students learning from our mistakes. As she activated the transmission, Maya saw the first foundation pillars of Unity rising in the distance, not a fortress, but the beginning of something more profound. Humanity's true homecoming. 5 years passed in the blink of a cosmic eye. Maya stood on Unity's central observation deck, watching the sunset paint the transformed landscape in amber and purple hues. Where barren toxicity had once dominated, carefully cultivated recovery zones now spread like living artwork across the Korean peninsula. "Thinking about how far we've come?" Dr. Song asked, joining her at the panoramic window. The years had added silver to his hair, but had done nothing to diminish his quiet intensity. "Remembering where we started," Maya replied. "A military outpost and a hidden sanctuary. Now this." Unity stretched before them, neither fortress nor mere survival shelter, but humanity's first true adaptation to Earth's new reality. Biodomes larger than any previously constructed housed thriving communities where children from all three factions play together. Buildings incorporated living components that responded to environmental conditions, strengthening under stress and healing minor damage without human intervention. The central plaza below bustled with activity as residents prepared for Unity's 5-year commemoration ceremony. Former orbital engineers worked alongside Earthbound ecologists, setting up displays highlighting their collaborative achievements. Martian scientists demonstrated terraforming techniques now being applied to Earth's most damaged regions. Maya's communication device chimed with a message from her assistant. "They're ready for your inspection, Captain." Though she no longer commanded a military unit, the title had stuck, transformed from a designation of authority to one of respect. She made her way to the educational center, where Unity's youngest generation gathered. Children aged 4 to 15, some born on orbital stations, others on Mars, and increasingly many born on Earth itself, presented their community projects. A young girl with the subtle genetic markers of Earthbound adaptation demonstrated a plant she had modified to accelerate soil detoxification. It converts heavy metals into compounds plants can use, she explained with the casual brilliance of someone raised in a culture where such knowledge was commonplace. A boy raised on Mars showed his design for more efficient water recycling systems. "We've always had to conserve every drop on Mars," he said. "Now we're applying those techniques here." What struck Maya most was how these children identify themselves, not as Martians or orbitals or Earthbound, but simply as people of Unity. The divisions that had nearly led to war were meaningless to them. Later that evening, Maya found herself invited to speak at the commemoration ceremony. Standing before representatives from every human faction, she searched for words equal to the moment's significance. "The first space colony on Earth was built for war," she began, acknowledging their beginning. We came as soldiers, prepared to claim and defend. We built walls to keep Earth out and weapons to keep others away. She gestured to the thriving community around them. But this colony, our unity, was built for belonging. We learned to listen to Earth rather than fight against it. We discovered that adaptation works better than domination. As darkness fell, Unity's bioluminescent elements activated, creating a soft glow visible from orbit. Somewhere above, travelers on passing ships would see this light, evidence that humanity had found its way home. We didn't conquer Earth again, Maya concluded, watching the faces of children who would inherit this new world. We finally learned how to be part of it. The applause that followed wasn't just for her words, but for the journey they had all taken, from exile to homecoming, from conflict to cooperation, from survival to thriving. Earth, once abandoned, had become humanity's greatest teacher.